10-2. 10-2. That's what I got. You don't know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the Colorado season coming up for 2024. I'm super excited about. I said 10-2. I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to stand on that. And more importantly, go over the reasons why the Buffaloes need a winning season. Not so much, anybody's job status. It's for the NFL draft and beyond. All right, so let me go with this. Colorado, how many games will they win this season? That's something I put up on my page. People have corresponded. Some people, they've gone, complete 12-0. It's going to be great. It's going to be undefeated season. They're going to go in the college football playoffs. Some people said 11-1. Some people have said, I think it's going to be 6-6 or whatever the case may be. And it won't be that big of a jump they're talking about. For me, I think 10-2 is legitimate based on the schedule. I do hate the schedule, by the way. We went over it in another video, but I'm actually going to go through game by game, giving you game predictions. All right, let's just jump into it. All right. Why is this important? Why is this season important? It needs to be a winning record for draft status. It's not anybody's job status or anything like that. I'm talking about it needs to be a winning season for Shedeur. What I do know is no quarterback, not a one, has been drafted in the first round of the NFL draft with a losing record in the last 8 years. So a lot of people who should be first rounders end up slipping. That's my whole overall point in saying that. And that was the conversation I was having. Shedeur is a first round talent. Absolutely first round talent. But then I started to think of all the different quarterbacks that got drafted in the first round. And as I was going through it in my head, no quarterback, going through it in my head thinking 4-8's not going to do it. It's just not going to do it on any scale. Every other position is different besides quarterback, in my view on this. So I started to think, has there not been a losing quarterback that's been drafted in the first round? I went back 8 years. Look, YouTube does not pay me that much, so I wasn't going a full deep analysis. I went 8 years. The only quarterback that came to mind immediately was Daniel Jones. And I looked it up. Daniel Jones had an 8-5 campaign before he declared for the NFL draft. So a whole bunch of busts have gone in the first round. And I'm going to talk about some of them in a second. But the fact of the matter is, in the first round, if you have a losing record as a quarterback, the statistics say you will not be drafted in the first round. So it is imperative that you have a winning campaign going into that, especially if you have those kind of aspirations. But hey, let the chips go where they may, and let's go over it right now. I don't think Colorado did themselves any favors with this schedule. It was some of my complaints last year because they played Nebraska and Colorado State back-to-back. Those are two rivals that you're playing back-to-back, and they were physical games. That really affected the team. Prime even said it. If you watched the season or you watched Coach Prime on Amazon, he was like, I get it. It's a rivalry game, but we just came back from a rival, and now we got to try to get back up. And then that's when its personal stuff came, and it was for good reason. They were in a dogfight against Colorado State. Nebraska was competitive, but absolute dogfight with Colorado State. And that took out Travis Hunter, and that affected the team for the next few weeks. They sputtered and tried to get back on track. But that's neither here nor there. They did it again with this particular year. But let's start with North Dakota State. North Dakota State should not be an FCS team. They are legendary. All right, legendary. If you don't believe me, they have Carson Wentz, Trey Lance. I get it. They are actually the two busts I was referring to a little while ago. Many people consider them busts. Like it or not, they are top 10 quarterbacks. I mean, they were taken in the top 10 of the draft, really top 5, and it came out of North Dakota State, meaning they put out NFL quality products each and every year. They should not be in the FCS. They should have joined the D1 conference a long time ago, mid-major, whatever, because they're that talented. So you better bring your lunch. North Dakota State will play them tough, and if you think you're just going to throw your helmet out there on the first week of the season and just win a game like this is just a warm-up game, you will be mistaken. I think the Colorado Buffaloes will win this by 2 scores, but it is not, at any stretch of the imagination, not going to be a physical game because they bring their lunch, and you're going to have to play them 60 minutes. So that's 1-0. Now, again, you're going to have 3 weeks of physical games. You get past North Dakota State. You might get past, I'm just saying, Just saying, I'm not going into all the schedule just yet. You get past North Dakota State, you get past Nebraska, you get past Colorado State. Your team is going to be really beaten up in the first 3 weeks of the season. Last year, it was the first two. I mean, you could really say the first 3 weeks was TCU, Nebraska, Colorado State, and you saw how physically that affected the team because they played opponents that could hit. That's what it is, and they're rivals. So you're gonna have a bit of a similar path. I think they'll win North Dakota State. They're going to Nebraska again, a rival game. I think they're gonna be well prepared for Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule does not. He's a great coach, great college coach. He may not have his quarterback in place just yet, and that's what I'm sure they're going to be banking on. Colorado State, you already know what's going on. Coach Prime said that the other day. I want to start that game week 1, and honestly, they should. Let's just get it out the way. With that being said, I truly believe they will start 3-0. I really think they'll start 4-0. They have a home game against Baylor. Baylor, again, is sputtering. The coach is on a hot seat. It's not a favorable situation for them. I don't think they're going to do a complete 180 and become this dominant team in the Big 12. I just don't see it. Colorado starts off 4-0. Here is the issue. UCF is a quality program. Everyone knows that Malzahn runs that program. UCF, former Auburn coach. He's a SEC coach. Was up there at Arkansas State. He's been coaching college football a very long time, very innovative on the offensive end. All that to say, he will not be fazed by that game. He understands the college game at a very, very high level. They are traveling across the country to play UCF. And I do believe that after the first few weeks of physical play and a cross-country trip, I think if I was looking at the schedule, which I am, I believe that's their first loss. It's 4-1. Now, they go to back home to go to play Kansas State. Kansas State has to travel across the country too. I think Kansas State is a very legendary program. They are a very physical team. They are more physical than any of the other teams they played so far. I think they're going to be way more punch in the mouth than Nebraska and Colorado State. They don't have a lot of history with Kansas State, but I do believe they will come in and be a really, really a force. But I do believe the Buffaloes will win that game. They are now going to Arizona. The good thing about Arizona, the coach, I believe his name was Jed Tisch. He has gone up to be the University of Washington head coach. He's took some players with him. Some of the people have uncommitted, but Arizona still has that fantastic quarterback, Noah. He was unbelievable. The Buffaloes will have to deal with that guy, but I think they're going to take a step back in talent, and they won't have that steady hand that coach had last year. I do believe they'll win that game in Arizona. Then they'll come back. They'll beat Cincinnati at home at Folsom Field. I do believe they'll go down to Lubbock. Lubbock is a tough place to play. They are high-octane offense. If you remember, Oregon almost lost to them and Lubbock this past season. So I don't think it's going to be easy, but I feel they'll know. They'll know they're close at that time. They know if they keep going, they can get in that Big 12 championship game. I do believe they'll win that game. All right, big rivalry game. Utah, I mean, at the end of the season, big Pac-12 rivalry game coming to the Big 12. At the end of that season, both teams knew they weren't really playing for anything, but Cam Rising's last year, and Shedeur will be a very interesting matchup. I think it's going to be a shootout, but I just believe in Colorado this year. They got it on their mind. At that point, they'll see it. They're going to be hungry. They're gonna win that game. So with all that being said, it's gonna go into Kansas. And if you remember, if you've seen it, they're gonna be playing at Arrowhead Stadium, which is historic. It's gonna be November 23rd. It's gonna be cold. But if you don't know, the quarterback for Kansas is insane. He is incredible. One of the better dual threat quarterbacks. He's very talented. I don't think he's a first round kid, but he's definitely a second to third round kind of guy, like a Hendon Hooker coming out of Tennessee. He can do it all. He can make the throws. He can run. He can make it really tough on you. So he could improve his draft status, especially his draft stock, if he plays well in this game. He could get into the first round as well. So I think it's going to be a big game. I think with everything going, I think they're going to go in. It's to me going to be the step for the Big 12 championship, and it's going to be a lot of implications. Colorado wins that game. They go into Oklahoma State. Well, Oklahoma State goes to Folsom, and they play at 9-1. I do not say this lightly. If there's any college team that epitomizes pissing in your cereal, it will be Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy. They're just known for it. They don't care about big games. He's been there 30-something years. I think he's the most tenured coach in college football. If not him, it's second most tenured coach. Mike Gundy's been there a long time. He's an Oklahoma State alum. They don't care about big games. They just want to win. And I feel that Oklahoma State always plays well, but they always drop that one or two games that keeps them out of national really contention. But I don't think they drop this game. I think they piss in the bowl. They piss in your cereal and say, hey, 10-2. Now, at that point, will they be in the Big 12 championship with a 10-2 record? I don't know. I would hope so. That would be a major just step up in the program. It really would be, and a great send-off for Shedeur, Shiloh, Travis, especially if he wants to declare for the draft. At that point, I think he will be the best player in the country, and everybody will know it. Everybody knows it kind of already now, but he is that's the proper send-off for that. Anyway, that's where I'm thinking it'll go. Big 12 championship. If they win, not win, that depends on how they're ranked into the CFP. We'll see how that goes once we get in season. I'll be breaking each and every game down from that standpoint. It's going to be really, really interesting. I can't wait. Again, you have to have a winning record if you plan on being drafted in the first round as a quarterback. And there's just no way around it. 4-8 is not going to do it. And 4-7, because I know Shedeur didn't play that last game. They have done a fantastic job at ramping up the offense of line. I feel like Shedeur will have a whole lot more time to throw. He'll have a whole lot more time to run if he feels like it. And he'll be more protected. His body will be more taken care of coming into this season. But I can't emphasize enough that this campaign has to result in a lot of wins, and that's why I think it's going to be, and that's why I think it's 10-2. I don't think it's going to be 12-0. I don't think it'll be 6-6. I think realistically 10-2 they get it done. Let me know what y'all think, and please let me know if I'm off base, not off base, but I think I'm right on target. Heritage Sports.